Hey Jesse, thank you so much for coming on the Boxed Up Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, brother. Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. So let's get started with a little backstory about you and who you are.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Jesse Wolfe. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Odang Hummus. And we do all kinds of hummus-related products from salad dressings and different condiments and dips and spreads and all kinds of stuff like that in the better-for-you health space. Founded that company in 2013. We launched officially in 2014. So that's my current entrepreneurial journey, if you will.
Perfect. And so you had the amazing opportunity to be on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of why Shark Tank. Let's start with that.
All right, so the backstory goes, we came up with the idea to do this crazy hummus company at our local, while I was in college, for a business plan class I had to take. And long story short, I ended up writing this business plan about the hummus industry and realizing, holy crap, there's a lot of opportunity in this space. So when I was done with the class, I entered that competition. I took that business plan, put it in a competition at our university, and I took third place. And I said, people keep validating this idea, so I should try to sell it somewhere. Right? And grocery stores won't just take you in off the street. So we went to farmers markets down here in Orlando. We went to farmers markets and we're like, hey, these are year round. They're $25 a market. Let's sell them here and see if people will buy them. So we did that, and we were doing these farmers markets. People kept telling us yo, you guys are awesome. You guys are hysterical, because we were having a good time at these weekend events. And they kept saying your product's so cool. You guys would be perfect on Shark Tank. And for a while, I just blew it off. I'm like, yeah, right, okay. We're just a group of college kids slinging hummus on the weekends. But as we were going to the farmers market, we kept building this. I called it the tribe. We kept building this tribe of fans. We got to 900 followers on Facebook and Instagram, which at the time we thought was a big deal. And that was 2014 when we first launched. And January of 2015, right after Christmas, I was hanging out with some of my entrepreneur friends, and we were getting dinner over at Universal Studios one night. And my one friend's like, hey, do you guys hear Shark Tank's coming to town? And I'm like, oh, that's dope. And she goes, yeah, it's down in Miami. You guys should go. And I said, well, why would we go? We barely have done $100,000 in revenue, and we sell at farmers markets. And she's like, yeah, but you've done $100,000 in revenue at a farmer's market. I'm like, then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm like, it'd be fun just to go down, get the bracelet, and tease, our 1,000 followers we had at the time, because everyone kept telling us to go. So I'm like, screw it, let's go. So I stayed up that night. It was Monday. I stayed up Monday night, all night, till before, whatever it was. And then we packed the car, Tuesday afternoon, we drove 4 hours down to Miami, and we slept in the parking lot, basically. Got there, got up at 3 a.m., stood in line to get a bracelet, because they told us on the way down that they only had 4,000 bracelets. So we were number 35 in line, and that was kind of how we ended up auditioning for Shark Tank. And, we went down there, they tell you, Shark Tank's not a solution to solve a business that's in trouble, so don't count on us. They go, we might call you 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, we'll probably never call you. Because they go, we auditioned 60,000 people, we keep 60. So the odds of you getting through are slim. So they were basically have fun, make today whatever it is, thanks for coming out. And we kind of kept that attitude. We're like, hey, we're here for the day. Screw it, let's have a good time, and we'll just tease it on social media, and away we go. And then we ended up getting a call back 2 weeks later, which started our journey, through the whole Shark Tank process.
Wow.
So that was cool.
So what is the bracelet that you mentioned? What is that?
It literally is just it's a colored bracelet. So when you're standing in line, they give a bunch of different colors and numbers out, and they basically bring you in batches. So ours is blue. It's around here somewhere. Ours is blue and has a number, stamped on the side. And we were the first group of people to go in to audition, because you sit outside the Miami Convention Center until they call your number. So it's just a cool bracelet, that you got for going down and auditioning. Okay, so this was kind of an idea that was brought upon everybody else kind of telling you to do it. Oh yeah, because otherwise, I didn't really believe we were ready, and truthfully, we were a little too early for Shark Tank at the end of the day. But I didn't think we'd actually get through. So it was crazy. We ended up on TV after it was all said and done.
Okay, and so how did the actual pitch and presentation and preparation, how did all that go?
So, the day you're there for the open auditions, you get 2 minutes to do your spiel. And you basically have to kind of just like on TV, say who you are, where you're from, what your product is, what solution you're solving. And if they like you at all, they'll ask some questions. So our first pitch was 10 minutes long, all said and done. And then we got called back 2 weeks later. And then this is in January. We didn't film until June.
Wow.
So every week for those, 5 months, 6 months, they're telling you, hey, we need this from you, whether it's paperwork, applications, audition videos, and we had to do several audition videos along the way. They just kept getting bigger and longer as you went. But with every submission, they would tell you, hey, this doesn't guarantee that you're going on the show. We cut every single week until we get our final 60. So you're kind of in suspense for 6 months, if you will, until they just give you a call one day. And I know we were getting towards the end, so it was getting exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. And they were they called us on a Tuesday, and they were like, hey, you're going to California Friday. And I'm like, I got 4 farmers markets this weekend. And they're like, no, you don't, figure it out. We need you in LA Friday morning. I was like, okay. And you're coming out here to film. And I'm like, oh shit, we made it. We actually got through. And then what's crazy is you fly out to LA, and then you find out that they're still filming 100 people. So you write a film and you'll never see on TV or hear about, because they just didn't make good television or whatever. So pretty crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. So when you're looking at a show and there's 3 or 4 different businesses on there. They didn't all happen like consecutively. They're kind of like editing them and.
Yeah, so on like the episode I'm on, I only was there with the 2 girls at the end. I was there with them. That's it.
Okay.
The other one's filmed. So Shark Tank films. I think it's 4 weeks in a row. I think they film for the whole week, or the whole month of June. And you're out there so they fly a chunk of people out the first week, chunk of people out the second week, et cetera, et cetera. And then I don't know how they pair it, but they build the episode, if you will. But the greatest thing I took away from Shark Tank was it's real. I mean, you walk out there, you don't know what sharks you're getting. The sharks don't have a clue who you are until the moment you speak. And it's literally a meeting. It's a real live meeting that they just film and they cut it down to fit, the time slot. I was in there for almost 3 hours.
What?
Yeah, I was in there for about 3 hours talking to the sharks about my business and all kinds of questions they were asking. And so much of it got left on the, the cutting floor, if you will. But, yeah, I mean, there's nothing scripted. There's no redos. There's no do-overs. If you choke, they can use it in the episode.
Wow.
Yeah, so they said they stopped one time in the history of Shark Tank, and that's because a light fell from the ceiling in the middle of the set. So they had to stop and clean it up. But they said otherwise, no, they keep filming no matter what. If you have a mental breakdown, they're filming. If you get in a fight with someone, they're filming. Like, they just, it's raw, man.
And they'll use whatever makes best television, huh?
That's right. Yep, that's right. So that was pretty wild to kind of learn that whole piece, because you have to really be on your best behavior to some degree, right? So, like, if you get mad at any point in time, they might use that later on to create drama, right? Or something like that. So, at one point in time, Barbara's calling me like naive or something like that, and I'm like smiling and nodding and saying, Barbara, like I'm not naive, and meanwhile she's like tearing me apart, but I didn't want to give them any facial expressions later on. So it's pretty funny.
Wow. And so what was it like standing in front of the sharks?
I'll tell you, dude, I never get nervous. I get nervous flying, but you can put me in front of 1 million people to speak on stage, and my adrenaline kicks in. I love it. And it was funny because I used to drink caffeine then. I don't drink caffeine anymore, but I hadn't had any coffee that day or anything with caffeine in it because I was trying to keep my stomach calm and just, be cool as a cucumber. And about an hour before I was ready to go on, man, I was like, something's off. I don't feel right. So I drank like 2 cups of coffee.
Watched Shark Tank since season 1 as a kid, and I remember these are my heroes, right? These are people we love and respect. We're watching, if you're an entrepreneur, you watch Shark Tank, Shark Tank. So it's like at that moment it dawned on me, like, oh my God, you're not just gonna get to meet these people, you're gonna have to talk to these people. So it was a lot of emotion all at once, and again the whole thing of there's no retakes, there's no redos, the whole world's gonna know who Jesse Wolfe and Shark Tank is at some point here soon. That kind of bugged me out for a second, but once I got out there and we started talking, it was the best. It was so fun.
Cool. And so you got the deal, right? You got it. So remind us what that deal was.
Yeah, so I took on Lori Grenier and Robert Hershevek, 20% for $50,000, and then unlimited purchase order financing. So They funded all of our purchase orders going forward. And
now,
that's the deal we made.
Are you still in contact with them? Do you have any relationship with them nowadays?
Yeah, so actually what's fun is after the show, we started talking, and really Hershevek I didn't get a chance to talk too much to afterwards, but Lori and I talked all the time. I mean, she's great, super nice. We dealt with Robert's people, if you will, his team. But Lori was super sweet. Her husband's a really great guy. And then we ended up ultimately turning down their deal, which was kind of fun. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that. But we turned down the deal because they wanted us to go more of a QVC route, kind of put us on TV type of thing. And we had grocery stores lining up for our product before Shark Tank even happened. So we had a big local bank that wanted to use us for advertisement, if you will. So this bank gave us this really awesome line of credit that we used to build our business that we shouldn't have gotten because we weren't qualified for it. But the bank made us a deal. It's like, hey, Jesse, let's use you on billboards and advertising material. We'll give you this line of credit for your business.
Wow.
So we're like, hey, we're good. We're going to hold off. But, Lori's still great. We still talk to her. I still talk to her every couple months. And we've just continued to grow our business since then. So, it's been awesome because, Shark Tank, the night it aired, was worth almost $14 million if you were to try to buy that time slot. And then aired again right before Christmas. And then afterwards, the craziest thing happened, which I wasn't expecting. CNBC bought our episode. So we run on Shark Tank CNBC 4 times a month right now.
Wow.
So we have this commercial that just keeps running for the last couple of years. It's insane.
That's awesome publicity, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's been great. Yeah, so no complaints there.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about where your business was at before Shark Tank.
Yeah, so we started out in farmers markets, and we were doing six figures, believe it or not, out of farmers markets. And, that was really great for us. It allowed us to connect with the customer, understand what they liked and didn't like quickly, while generating profit, right? Big profit. Is awesome. And then we went to a grocery chain down here in Florida called Publix. We got our product into 400 of those stores right about the same time as we were hitting Shark Tank. So that was nice kind of joint publicity, if you will, together. And then from there, we grew to that was 2015. We were on Shark Tank, the end of it. 2016, we grew to about 700 stores, which was awesome. And then going into 2016 and 2017, I entered another thing called Walmart Made in America. And Walmart Made in America is really cool program where they invite 750 companies they hand select out to Bentonville for you to pitch for a chance to be sold in Walmart. So I entered that. I ended up getting us into this, accepted into this program, and we ended up getting selected. So 2017 going into 2018, we got put into Walmart, Kroger, and a couple other big stores. That was like 4,000 stores. And then this year, around November 2019, we crossed 11,000 stores.
Holy.
So, yeah, between 2018 and 2019, we really blew up. We hit 50 states, even Hawaii, which is, a pretty a goal I had. And then we've even done several countries. Like we're all in the islands. We're down in Brazil, South America.
Wow, good for you.
Thanks, brother. So yeah, we got a kick-ass team behind us, and this thing is just growing, man. It's crazy to see the growth it's having.
Was there any significant spike in a short amount of time post being on Shark Tank?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, we did. So the night we aired, it was October 2nd, 2015. We aired at we were watching our traffic to our website and our social media and stuff, and we had 1,000 followers and all of our stuff before that because we couldn't say anything. They have you to where you can't say a word. You're going on Shark Tank until they tell you you're going on Shark Tank. So we got maybe 300 visitors per day to our website. That's all we were getting. So around 8 o'clock on that Friday, we saw it spike to 1,000, and then 8:30 we saw it spike to 1,500, and then 8:45 it went up to 4,000 or 5,000. And we're like, oh man, this is cool. And then when it hit 9:01, we were the first person to come out on the show. Our website hit 275,000 visitors per minute.
Wow.
For 3 hours. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And orders, I have never seen so much money come into a website before. We did our whole first year's revenue in 12 minutes on Shark Tank. So
wow.
It was nuts to see that whole thing. And it was funny because, if you watch the graph, it was tink, tink, and all of a sudden it just spikes straight up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come down for 7 days. I mean, it was just crazy, the amount of, it was so nuts. Shark Tank calls you and they team up with GoDaddy or whoever your server's on. And so GoDaddy actually put us on Netflix server.
To hold all that, yeah.
Yeah. So for a month and a half, we were on Netflix server until we kind of stabilized again. So that was nuts. And then when we landed Walmart was 2,500 retailers, right? 2,500 stores. So that was probably the second big pop we saw. But we sent out 13 semis, 14 semis of product that day. It was nuts. Yeah. So, I personally loaded half of those, and it was really freaking cool to see,
Yeah, that's wild. So, talked about the fun stuff, right? We talked about the show, the experience. Yeah. Now let's get down to the real stuff, for a lack of a better word. So, how long have you been doing this before you were on the show?
Well, like I said, Odang's been the wildest journey. I started it theoretically in 2013 in a class. So, January of 2013. So, a whole year went by before I really decided to actually start the company. And 2013, I was writing the business plan, and I entered a couple of business plan competitions, and I had money sitting in the bank that I won from those competitions that I could either use as startup cash. But, we had a lot of times when Odang should have died. And it almost died out of the gates because, when I first came with the idea to sell in the farmers markets, the idea was, all right, well, Betty is selling soap down there, so I'll just put a tent next to Betty, And turns out all the farmers markets in Central Florida were booked. They had 2-year waiting lists.
Wow.
And I was like, how in the hell are there 2-year waiting lists on farmers markets? And it turns out people are making these killer livings. Betty's selling soap. She's pulling 6 figures a year selling soap at these farmers markets. So there's these massive waiting lists. So I was so discouraged at first. I'm like, I can't get into grocery stores. You can't sell it online because it's refrigerated. It's too expensive. And now I can't get in these damn farmers markets. Like, screw this. It's not going to work. So, in fall of 2013, I basically quit on it. I was like, this isn't going to work. And thankfully, I had a professor in my entrepreneurship program that pulled me aside and was like, yo, if you don't do this, someone else is going to, and it's going to kill me when I see your idea done by someone else. And that shook me, right down to the bone. And I said, he's right, man. Don't quit. This is really the journey of really learning failure and how to fail fast, how to fail forward, how to fail often. And then I started the farmers market thing again, and I got accepted into a small one, got ready to do it, and it closed. The weekend I was supposed to do it, it closed. I'm like, damn it, man. I'm like, this obviously isn't meant to be, And luckily, I had good friends around me that kept me kind of pushing. And then finally, in April, we got into a farmer's market. So it took us almost a whole year just to get into a farmer's market to try and even sell this stuff, So, and then we've got, so many stories of when Odang specifically should have died, But we've had some rough patches, even coming off of Shark Tank. Shark Tank was so incredible, but it also put us in such a limelight that we couldn't handle the volume of products we were getting orders for. We had manufacturers collapse on us. We lost multi-million-dollar orders coming out of the gates because manufacturers collapsed. I always joke, I'm really good at the fetal position because I'm good at sitting in the corner and rocking and trying to figure out what to do next. But yeah, like we were discussing earlier, I always tell people when they ask for advice, when I'm out, people stop me, and I said, listen, don't start a business for money. Start a business for passion. Money will always follow passion, I promise you. But if you're doing it for money, there's going to be a lot of nights, where you're not sleeping, a lot of mornings when you're up before 4 a.m. You're working 16, 17, 18-hour days to get these things started and going. And you're bleeding literally for these companies, I must have got heat stroke 4 times, no joke, hospitalized heat stroke at the farmers markets for Odang hummus.
Wow.
But I kept going back because I was sick. I loved it, It didn't feel like work. It was fun, We were building this thing, and, I was passionate about food. So, I get really perturbed when I see these people that are like, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't know how to start. Okay, it's called Google. Literally, get on the internet, go to Google and type in the idea you want to start, and research, is someone else doing it? Who's doing it? Are they having success? Are they not having success? Everyone's like, oh, I need to start a business, but I need to raise funds. What are you raising funds for? You don't even have a business idea. You know what I mean? So again, go back to Google, figure out your pain point. That's the stuff that I always tend to tell people. I'm like, listen, it is not rocket science. If you look at some of the most successful companies on earth, look at Waste Management. They pick up garbage. That's one of the biggest companies on earth right now. Procter and Gamble, my world, Campbell's Soup, PepsiCo. They make food. You know what I mean? People always think they have to be, create the next, Facebook or, Instagram or TikTok. No, again, it's trivial. But look at Bezos. He sold books. He is the wealthiest man on our planet. The dude started selling books, right? So when people, get on these high horses about, well, I need a team of coders for this and that. No, you don't. Do you know how to find a coder? Probably not. Get on Google. So there's just a lot of stuff that the society is deeming entrepreneurship as this, the job to have right now. And it is. There's a lot of great stuff about entrepreneurship that I love and I live for. And it is my addiction. I mean, I love the adrenaline rush. I love the failures. I love the successes. But you got to learn how to take the failures, And I also learned you have to learn how to take the success. Because in previous businesses that I started when I was much younger, in high school and stuff, in early college days, I would hit I had a detailing company when I was 18. We did $100,000 my first year. I was 18 years old.
Wow.
My parents were like, "You're selling drugs," and I'm like, "I'm not selling drugs. We're cleaning boats. That's what we were doing." But I got comfortable because I'm like, "Oh, I made it." No, that thing could have been so much bigger. But I mean, I hit a goal and I just stopped there for some reason. I was like, look what I did. So there's just so much to learn about just being an entrepreneur that so many people need to kind of step back and look at. And the people you see leaning on Lamborghinis or, sitting on bookshelves in the garage with 4 cars, that's the facade. You know what I mean? If you look at, you look at people like Ed Milet. I love Ed Milet.
Uh-huh.
The dude built a massive company and he sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars. Ed Milet is true success, right? And Ed Milet has every right, Tom Blau has every right to get up there and talk because these guys have built massive companies with their hands and sold them, So I always tell people, check the credentials of the people you're taking information from. You know what I mean? Check the credentials of the people you see on Instagram living these lives. What are they actually doing? If they're not telling you how they're making their money or how they've made their money, you'll see even Ed Milet, he'll tell you, shit gets hard. Yeah, nothing's going to come to you. No one's going to hand you a golden ticket for a $10 million company. You have to build it. But the good news is, if you want it, you can build it. It's 2020. There's so many. Like Gary Vee always says, this is the best time in the history of the world to start a business. You can literally, in essence, become an Uber driver, and to some degree, you're an entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of set your schedule, et cetera, but you're not working for somebody. You technically are, but you're a contractor working for someone. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of what level you want to go to. But like with Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and all these different platforms, you can sell anything you want. eBay, Alibaba Express. I mean, it's so easy to drop ship. And the greatest part is, if you don't know how to do this stuff, there's a whole YouTube platform that will teach you anything you want to know for free. But the thing that it always reverts back to is you have to take time and sacrifice your time, friends, family, whatever, to learn this stuff. You know what I mean? We don't just wake up. I didn't know anything about food when I started in Odeg hummus. I had nothing, no knowledge of it. And I learned as I went along, you know what I mean? So that's the crazy part about entrepreneurship that just gets so warped on the internet, it seems like.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite sayings is, it's not a lack of resources, but a lack of resourcefulness. And I think you hit that right on, because that is literally the biggest excuse as to why, like I see with like my TikTok and stuff like that, with the comments is, well, I don't have the time, I don't know how, I don't have the money, I don't. Everyone's giving excuses and no one's actually putting in the work.
Yep. I mean, transparently, Odang is worth millions of dollars. I mean, we have, just to keep it loose, we're a seven going on 8-figure company. I started that with $300.
Yeah.
$300. You know what I mean? And literally, that's what got us going. So you're right. Whenever I hear I don't have time, you better tell me then that you work 3 full-time jobs. And then I'll go, yeah, you probably don't have the time. Because I tell people, like, I'll do mentoring and stuff at the college I graduated from, and they'll say, oh, there's not enough time in a day. Okay, well, for the next 3 days, I want you to write down everything you do, and you'll unbelievably just have your mind blown at how much time you have and you waste on Instagram or watching Netflix or hanging out at restaurants for 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? Like, you can still see your friends. Like, the last thing I'll tell you is to, divulge your entire life for something. It's got to be somewhat of a balance, or else that's how burnout happens. Mm-hmm. But you have to give up and just be really good with time management. And it's unbelievable. I mean, I started Odang while working a full-time job, while going to school full-time, finishing my degree. And I stayed up till 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock at night, I'd get home from my job or whatever classes, and I'd stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, trying recipes, blah blah blah. And then on weekends, Friday night, I'd come home, I'd make all the hummus for the farmers market, and then I'd be up at 5:30 a.m. So I sleep for like 2-3 hours, and I'd be at the market. And I'd work the market till 2-3 o'clock, come home, do it again for Sunday, and then Sunday night I would sleep to catch up with my sleep or whatever. It wasn't fun. It wasn't glorious. Everyone thought I was lucky. I hate that word too. Jesse, you're so lucky.
You got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? You could call it luck, but we could call it luck. But I put myself in a spot to get lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, we can all get lucky, right? But again, no one's going to walk up to you and be like, Jesus, here you go, dude. Here's a $10 million business opportunity. All you have to do is just pick up where I left off.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. So you're right, man. It's not a lack of resources. It's resourcefulness. That's 100% the thing I see the most common. And it drives me nuts because, if people want it bad enough, they'll go get it. You know what I mean? They'll figure
Priorities.
it out. They'll ask the right questions. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, something that I see a lot is just the same thing with the I don't have time, yet you have time to be commenting on my post. You know what I mean? Like, you have time to be like keeping up with all of my posts. I see you on every single one of my posts leaving me some sort of negative comment, yet you don't have time.
Oh, I know. I mean, imagine if all the trolls on social media turned that into like a business. They took all that time for trolling and put it in a business. I'm like, oh my God, we'd have so many more entrepreneurs.
Right.
And the other thing that cracks me up too is Gary Vee was actually talking about this, I think today in one of his posts. But he goes, he tells people, get on, you want to meet someone famous, get on Instagram, send DMs until they respond, and be vigilant about it. And he'll get the messages, hey, I sent 50 DMs and I got no response. And he goes, you fucking serious? 50 DMs? And you think, you sent out 50 DMs today to 50 different people and you thought that's all it would take.
Right.
Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing too, is people think, well, I've been at this for 3 weeks. I should already be, a 6-figure business. No, dude, you got to eat the crow, man. You're going to get punched in the mouth. Like, that's part of it.
Yeah.
If you started a business and you didn't have any turmoil or you didn't have any failures, either something bad's about to happen, the whole thing's going to collapse, or you're the luckiest person on earth and you should be buying lotto tickets, not being an entrepreneur. So, it's part of the game. You need the big failures to help celebrate the massive wins. You know what I mean? People always get so discouraged by the well, shit, they didn't work out. Okay. Well, it didn't work out. And then move forward from it.
Right. Learn.
Learn. Yeah. Henry Ford, man, my favorite quote. Failure is just another opportunity to start again, this time more educated. And it's so true, right? But I see so many people that want to be entrepreneurs, they start going, something derails it, and they stop. And that's it. They're done.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you see people on Instagram, with their watches and their rental Porsches and stuff. That's not real entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? And it drives me nuts because it's like they're selling a facade, man, or they're selling a course or something.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, they're selling an image to sell a course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're about to be an 8-figure company. I drive a Dodge Ram truck and live in a small apartment. You know what I mean? Theoretically, we're doing great, but I'm not over here sitting on giant yachts and stuff. You know what I mean? We're building a business. We're busy,
Right.
It's what we're doing, but I regret nothing. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And so now let's shift a little bit towards like the mindset of things, because that is something that really I feel like is very important to me to kind of expose to the world. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of work. Yes, like that's very physical, the waking up at 4 in the morning, not going to sleep till 2 a.m., putting in the grind. But it all starts in your head, right? It all starts like you have to convince yourself that you're going to get there. How did you personally deal with the failures? How did you personally deal with, the realization that you're going to have to be working 16, 18 hours a day? Like, what was it about your mindset that helped you get to where you're at?
Well, first and foremost, especially being either a new entrepreneur or a young entrepreneur, the greatest thing is, and this is going to sound funny, being naive.
Mm.
You really don't know, is this company going to hit $1 million in 6 months or 6 years? I don't know, right? So what's nice is if someone told me, hey, Jesse, you're going to go through this warpath for 6 years to get Odang Hummus to this point, it might have scared me off. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, holy hell, do I want to sign up for that?
Mm.
You know, there was a couple of years of Odang where, I mean, you know, I was late on payments and bills and stuff. Like, it wasn't always gumbos and raindrops, you know? But I just kept pushing because, again, I was so passionate and I wanted this so bad that I knew I could run through any wall. It was up to me. You know, so when I first started entrepreneurship, I mean, and I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Even as a little kid, I sold the lemonade, you know, I sold the candy.
Same,
you know, I turned my mom's basement into a bike shop without her knowing, like all this stuff. You know, detailing company at 18, a pet business at 20, you know, and those all failed to some degree. But I knew that's what I wanted to do, you know, and that was my thing, is I knew I liked building things and I liked being responsible for creating these things. So that was a lot of the driver, but I mean, trust me, there's days when you just want to quit. Even now, you know, there's really hard spots you hit, and you have to remember why you started. You know, I mentally take a minute and I look back as to how far we've come, or you know where we're at today, and what I want my future to be. And you know, if you have an opportunity to work for a real full-time job before starting a business, those aren't all, you know, gumbo and raindrops as well.
Right.
You know, they have bad days. You know, your boss is a jerk. You're working on Christmas Day. So no matter what you do, you don't always get your way, right? At least entrepreneurship, you're fully in control. This is the way I look at it. I'm fully in control to change that outcome, right? So if I want Christmas off next year, and that's that important to me, well, I've got 364 days to figure it out.
Right.
But I can ultimately decide that. And that's what I love about entrepreneurship. So recently, in the last couple of years, you know, someone told me this, I don't know who, but entrepreneurship and any problem, this goes for anything in life, when shit hits the fan, it's like a puzzle getting dropped on your desk, you know, a bunch of pieces. Everything is there. You just got to put the puzzle together, right?
Yeah.
And that's life in general. So, like, you know, when things look like this is it, it's the end, everything, we always joke, everything is figure-outable.
Yeah.
You just have to calm down, breathe, take a step back for a second, and go, why did it fail? What could we have done differently, possibly? Okay, well, now we can't go in the past. Here we are now. How do we fix this going forward?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said, we could talk for hours about all the failures of Odang, but we're still here and we're still growing, you know? So that's my biggest thing. Mentally, it's just reminding yourself, every business, look at WeWork, you know, I mean, multi-billion-dollar company has issues.
Yeah.
You're not the only one going through shit.
Right.
Everybody goes through shit. And whether it's shit of doing your own business or working for a company and going through shit, you're still going through shit.
Regardless, yeah.
Regardless, right. So imagine being an employee of WeWork when all this went down. You're going through the same thing that the owners of WeWork were going through. Right. You just can't make any of those big calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you have to remind yourself, like, it's going to be okay, but you having a meltdown of panicking and crying, why me, poor me, it fixes nothing at all. And nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You know, that was the big thing I remember years ago learning. Nobody gives a shit. You know, they're going to go, that sucks. And then tomorrow they don't care that your company lost $100,000. Right, yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, quit asking for someone to feel sorry for you. Again, that solves no problem. You know what I mean? And when, you know, don't get me wrong, like, you know, my anxiety will kick in and, you know, I've got some pretty rough days, but then I just know, listen, step away. Go clear your mind. You know, I got a couple ways I do that, go from like walks and stuff, but, you know, you learn when enough stuff, walk away, clear your mind, get in the right mindset, and then come back and look at the problem, you know, and that's worked wonders for me. And as I get older and further into entrepreneurship, I get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
So just like when we were younger, playing sports and stuff, you didn't wake up and learn to be a good football player. You went to practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you played games. And you did that, like I did that since I was, 5 years old until, I graduated high school. So when I was in high school, I was a damn good football player. But I had been practicing since I was 5.
Right, yeah.
So we forget that in life that, hey, you just aren't born a good entrepreneur. You aren't born good at stress management. You're not born a good leader. You're not born, good at problem solving. These are things you have to learn. You have to practice, and get better at. And again, that's why entrepreneurship rocks, because if you're cool with, I call it R&D, right? Research and development, the testing, whatever you want to call that. You are the human guinea pig. Oh, shit, that didn't work out this time. Or, man, that last problem we had, I was a disaster. What can I do differently? Just always be trying to get better than the day before. And you'll grow, man. You'll grow like crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That is literally, you are literally what it means to be an entrepreneur from beginning to end. From
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and you can see it in your results. You know what I mean? You can see it in your grind and your dedication and your passion, and I love that. I love that a lot. Where do you see Odang in, let's say, 10 years?
Oh, man, 10 years. It's crazy because our space is wild. Food, fun fact for any entrepreneurs listening, food is a great place to be right now. It's very much like its own little tech boom, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I'm hoping more than likely Odin will be acquired by somebody else. That's kind of the way it's looking. And in food, you really have two choices. You either have to sell to one of the big guys. You build a great business, you sell it off because they need you for their portfolio, for their shareholders. Or you have to fight them.
Yeah.
Going against Pepsi and those guys, they have billions of dollars. It's hard, Can it be done? Yeah, but it's scary. So my thing is, I love what I'm doing. I love the space I'm in. So I probably more than likely won't own Odang Hummus that time. And hopefully I've already done another startup or two.
There you go.
Again, this is, like I said, it's got its highs and lows. But damn, is it fun, man.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
See, it's crazy to me that you're standing on a business that you say is generating that much money, and yet you're already, like, in your mind, you're already set on, like, well, I know that I'm probably gonna sell it, but I'm ready to start another business or two from ground zero. You're addicted to the process. You're addicted to the grind. You're not addicted to the money. You're not addicted to the fame, to the rewards. You're addicted to the actual process of it. And I think that is the biggest thing that is lacking in entrepreneurs, quote unquote, entrepreneurs nowadays.
Yeah,
So that's awesome, dude. That is really awesome.
I mean, that's it. Honestly, like, you always have those dreams of, like, the yacht. But, like, truthfully, if someone bought Odang tomorrow, I probably wouldn't change the lifestyle I have. I'd probably use a lot of the proceeds to do this again, just even bigger and faster.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's cool about building and doing another one and doing another one. You get smarter with every single one. You get faster with every single one. And if you look at some of the Titan entrepreneurs out there, they're just juggernauts at starting stuff and building things. And that to me is what I live for. The denting the universe, if you will. So like in the food space, we're making really healthy, badass food and easier and more affordable for the world. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. And to know I had something to do with that is freaking addicting.
Back to the point that you said about these juggernauts who, like, can build these massive corporations in what seems like overnight, right? And a lot of people think that it's because they already have these billions of dollars. And while, yeah, that does help, it has more to do with the experience that they've garnered in the past from building their corporations, more so than having all that money at their disposal.
Bro, if you somehow were able to delete Jeff Bezos' celebrity fame, right, from the world, and strip him down to like $1,000 cash, that man would be back with a multi-million dollar in 6 months, a year. You know what I mean? Because he's gone through hell and back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's seen stuff I would dream to have seen and to learn from. So yeah, I mean, that's the best part. And again, that's what's so awesome about entrepreneurship. It's not about the Ferrari and the money and the watches and the parties. Think about how much more of a badass you are by the time you're done with your first business or a year into your business. A year into your first startup, you've learned so much more than 365 days before that, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and you as a person, I mean, it's so funny because, I've got a bachelor's degree, but I mean, I have my own university, like, hey, would you want to be a professor? You could teach some of these classes. I'm not that far out of college. So like to me, they're like, you've been through this, you know what entrepreneurship looks like. Hell yeah, you could easily teach this class. And they're right, I could, because of everything I've gone through and I've seen just at 32. So imagine where I'm going to be at 42 and 52. I mean, that's what's addicting, I mean, it's like a road trip, if you will,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on my podcast. I appreciate it a lot. I wish you nothing but the best with your business, and I know you're going to get to wherever you want because you just have that mindset and you have that grit and you have that dedication. So I know that you're going to make it. So thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.